Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Welcome back to the course of communication skills. So, this is your teacher, Jahanzeb Jahan. I am today teaching you about the reading skills, and reading skills is, as you know, is a chief component of the communication skills. So, in reading skills today, we are talking about the definition and the process of reading. And after that, we are talking about the types of reading. We have two very good activities that we have used in this video lecture for you that will tell you about the importance of reading and about your own capacity, that how can you read well. And then we'll also be talking about that how can we include these reading habits while we are writing something, so we can utilize this knowledge, whatever we have read, and we can put that into our writing. So let's begin with reading. George Martin says, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. A man who never reads lives only one." Here he means to say is that a person who is having a habit of reading, he has many lives to live. And the person who doesn't read at all, he lives only one life. Now, what is difference between these two things? That a person who is into reading habit and who reads well, who reads voraciously, who reads so many books, he has so many characters to think about. He feels those characters within himself. He feels the presence of those imaginative things around him. He finds that environment around him. So in a way, he is all the time imaginating, he is fancying the things he has just read, and he is thinking about those things in his spare time. So a reader has so many lives to live, but a person who doesn't read, he only lives his normal life in which he doesn't use imagination, he doesn't have escapism, he doesn't use his fancy. So his life is a dull one. So a reader enjoys his life. So he's not only enjoying his own life, but also the lives of all the characters that he has studied in his books. First of all, what is reading? Reading is complex cognitive process of decoding symbols to derive meaning. It is a form of language processing. Success in this is measured as reading comprehension. So here we talked about certain difficult terms, for example, cognitive. So cognitive means mental ability, your mental process. Decoding means to break the codes, and comprehension means to understand what we are reading. Now, reading is, yes, a cognitive process. It is our mental process, and we use reading to decode symbols. Now, symbols are those written words. Whatever we find written somewhere, they are symbols. They are in form of alphabets, in form of symbols, and we have some mental capacity to decode those symbols. If we know the language, we can easily decode them, we can understand them. And it is also called a language processing. And if we are successful in this process, then that is our reading comprehension. It means that we are not only reading something, but also we can understand something. Now, here there is a newspaper in front of you, and you need to guess that what is the language of this newspaper. For example, you can see the word enter, you can see the word Churchill, you can see the word message, you can even see the word number and part. But what about rest of the words? Can you understand them? No. You may have an idea that this may be a French newspaper because there's France written on the top of it. Now, why can't you understand all this when you know A to Z alphabets? For example, there's LESALLIESONTPRISPIED. So this is around about World War II. Allies is about American and Britain soldiers who are fighting together. Why can't you understand the rest of the text? It is because we don't have the process of decoding this. We can read because we know how to read it. We know the alphabets. We know A to Z alphabets altogether. But here we are not sure about what is meant by all this. So we are reading it, but we are not comprehending it. We can read the word Les Allies ont pris sur le sol de France. I am reading it, but I am unable to comprehend it. So for comprehension, you need to break the codes. If I know French language, then I am able to decode it. For example, if I ask you, what is Sanami? You may not be able to know because I'm asking your name in German language. Minami is Jahazib. It means that I'm telling you that my name is Jahazib, and that is also in German language. So when you know the meaning of some word or phrase, then you are able to respond to it. Now, since you do not know these codes written in the French language, you are unable to respond back and you are unable to understand it because this is unbreakable code for you. Now, the code will be breakable for you when you are learning the language, when you learn this language. And as far as English language is concerned, yes, we can read English language and we can understand the English language because we have learned the code breaking of it. We know the meanings of the grammatical units of language. We know the meanings of parts of speech of the language. So we can easily make out what is meant by what is written in English language. Like you're reading all the slides coming up. Now, comprehension demands that we need to pay attention in order to understand. And we not only have to move our eyes, like you're moving your eyes on the text written in front of you. You are trying to understand, but you are not understanding. Now, for comprehension, we not only have to use the movement of eyes, but also we need to figure it out that we properly read, we try to understand. Now, what about this? Can you read it? Fi yavo kana read this yavo have a strong sagrana. Now, this is not the way it is written. Something else is written here. And if you try to pay attention, you can read it easily. If you can read this, you have a strange mind too. I couldn't believe that I could actually understand what I was reading. The phenomenal power of human mind. According to a research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be in the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without a problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Amazing? Yeah. And I always thought spelling was important. So what do you get out of it? This is the reading process. As it is told here that human mind does not look at a single letter. It looks at the word completely, a word as a whole. So by reading word as a whole, we can make out what it may be written here if the first and the last letters are same. So this is importance of the reading process and the importance of human mind too. That is a phenomenal power vested within the human beings that we can read all this. So reading is a visual process. It is the ability to see symbols clearly with the eyes. If you refer again to the last slides, that was a visual process. And even the French thing, that French newspaper we were talking about, so all material written about France was in French language. But visual process was there. We were trying to figure out what was written there. But in the last slide, in which there were anagrams, the words were jumbled up, we could try to make sense. Because it said that if the words are in disorderly manner, except for the first and last letter, We can read it because human mind reads not a single letter but a word on whole. So we are reading word as a whole. We are not reading a single letter. So it is a perceptual process, perception meaning that our thought process are able to take these symbols and to invest them with meaning. It is an experimental process because without experience, the mind will be unable to invest meanings to the symbols we see. So definitely the process is an experimental one, because if we are not having an experience of it, or we're not conducting any experience, we will never be able to invest the meaning to the symbols we see. To invest the meaning, we need to look at the symbols, we need to try to understand the symbols, we need to perceive those symbols in our thought, and we need to make meanings of them. For example, a person who does not know ABC, and if he's reading this slide, so he's not understanding it. For him, W is a symbol, H is a symbol, A is a symbol, T is a symbol. So he is reading them all together as a symbol. But he's not trying to make meanings when he's reading all these slides. You can do it because you know how to break the code and you know how to make the meaning out of these symbols. We could not make the meanings out of the French symbols because we do not know the French language. But at least we can make use of the symbols here in this slide because it is in English and we know English language. Reading happens to be a transactive process in which the readers negotiate meanings or interpretations. So, readers who are good readers, they are, whenever they're reading, they're making meanings, they're negotiating meanings, and they're making interpretations. Like they interpret things in several ways using their experiences. For example, if you're reading poems, then you need to interpret the poems in most possible ways, and you need to know what is the bent of mind of the poet and what is his era that he belongs to. So, keeping all those things in mind, you can read better, you can understand better, and you can interpret better. So, a reader, whenever he is reading, he is making meanings and he is interpreting, because sometimes the reader is reading between the lines. Now, between the lines means the things that writer has not written, but in fact he has conveyed his meanings to, and a good reader tries to make meanings of those things which are not conveyed. Like Keats said that heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore ye soft pipes play on, not to the sensual ear, but to the more endeared. So here the endeared means the person having aesthetic sense, and a person who is having the aesthetic sense in reading, he knows and he learns the meanings written in between the lines. Now, during reading, the meaning does not go from page to reader. Instead, it is a complex negotiation between the text and the reader that is shaped by immediate situation context and broader social linguistics context. Like we are not only reading, we are trying to make a judgment, we are trying to make an analysis, we are trying to make a discussion. A good reader is never all the time on an agreement with the book or writer. He is all the time having his critical mind working. He thinks and he makes his own notes within his mind and tries to comprehend what is written. But if he disagrees, he has the right to disagree. And that is what a good reader is. The immediate situational context includes the reader's knowledge about topic, the reader's purpose for reading, and other factors related to the situation. So in reading process, this is very important thing that the situational context is very important for the reader. The topic's knowledge is important for the reader, and the purpose of reading is quite important. Like first of all, if a person is not interested in English language, he will not be interested in any text of English language. If a person does not know about the topic, he will not be able to read from in between. And if a person who is not knowing the purpose why he's reading something, he'll lose his interest eventually. Like all the students in the class, I always tell them that whenever a teacher comes to you with a new subject, do ask him or her the importance of this subject in your lives. So if you know why you are studying a subject, then you will be more prone towards reading it. And if you just start reading a subject and you don't ask why are we reading this subject or what is the importance of this subject in our professional lives, then that subject will be a complete boredom for you. So we need to ask this question, and this is a process of the reading comprehension and processes. So reading skill in general is an ability. The reader decodes the message from the printed or written words, and in the process of reading, the reader employs his reading skills. The degree of reading skill varies from person to person according to the linguistic competence and background knowledge he possesses. So first of all, a reader breaks the codes, he gets to know the meanings, and then he uses his own skills, his own reading skills. And reading skills vary from person to person. Reading speed varies from person to person, and it is always dependent upon the linguistic competence of a person and the background knowledge that he possesses. For example, if a person has been reading literature in his childhood, will easily understand literature. But that person may not be able to understand the mathematical formulas because he was not interested in that. So linguistic competence and background knowledge, they play a vital role whenever you are reading something. So for a good reading, we need to have reading experience, reading expertise, skills, our linguistic competence, and the background knowledge for the subject that we are reading. Now, since we were talking about the reading skills, so speed is one of those skills. Now, this is excellent website for you. So this is readingsoft.com, www.readingsoft.com. What you need to go is you need to go there and need to read a paragraph there, and when you're done, click stop and you will get your score. Like I received my score as 852 words per minute. So now coming back to reading test results, so here the first column says that screen reading and second says paper reading. So since screen reading is difficult, paper reading is easier. So my score is from screen reading. I just read the same paragraph and my score was 852. Now, 100 words per minute on screen reading, this is your 50% comprehension and you are insufficient kind of a reader. Then 200 words per minute, that is your 60%, you are an average reader. 300 words per minute, 80%, that means you're a good reader. And 700 words per minute and plus, it means you are a skimmed reader, and that is you are an excellent reader. So these things come with your proficiency and your test. You're testing yourself time and over again. There were so many people in the history who were quite proficient readers. They were rather skim reader. Like John F. Kennedy, this is famous about him, that he would not read English from left to right. He would read English from up to down. Like within one glance, he could see the whole sentence or the whole paragraph in his eyes. So this was his quality of reading. So we need to enhance the reading speed as well. Now, however, the following are the important components of reading skill. First of all, recognition of the graphemes. So graphemes are the graphic images of the sounds, the spellings which or the symbols which give certain sounds, and those sounds when they're combined they make meaning. For example, n, I, b, these are symbols. So NIB, they are different sounds. When they are combined in this sequence NIB, they are giving the sound of nib. When they're combined as BIN, they're giving the sound of bin. Both are having different meanings. So first of all, we have the recognition of graphemes, then correlation graphemes within words, that graphemes which appear within words. Then we recognize the relationship between and among sentences in discourse. That we're not only reading, but also we are making a discourse analysis. For example, if one says, we are reading some book and someone says, please go and check out who's at the door. And next person says, I am in bathroom. So there is no practically a sense developing here, but we can make sense out of it that since he is in washroom, he is unable to come out. So this is the reason probably. Then deducing meaning of unfamiliar words. So in next slide we'll be having an exercise on it. We can make meaning, that is our contextual reading. We can make a contextual reading and we can get the meaning, and then inferring implicit and explicit information and ideas of the text. Like we need to get the information what is being given by the text, and we need to get the information which is not given by the text, but we can deduce out of it that thing that writer has not conveyed, but we are inferring it. We may get to know it because this is the writer might be willing to say. Now I want to ask you a question. You need to tell me the meaning of glit millet. I ate glit millet in breakfast. Now you need to try to think it and configure that what could be thing that I can eat in glit millet. That's something that should be very particular to breakfast only. That's why I have written breakfast. So since we agree that glit millet is something that is eaten in breakfast, so there are two things clear. Glit millet is eaten and glit millet is in breakfast. Now if I say that glit millet is of white color, then you may think that milk is of white color, lassi is of white color, but both of them are not eaten. So they are excluded from the possibilities. What else could be? Cream. Yes, cream can be eaten. So it might be cream or it might be an egg as well. Now third sentence, glit millet is of oval shape. Now you got it. Now you got it that it is an egg, because cream is not of oval shape. Cream has no shape at all. It is almost in a liquid form. So glit millet is an egg. So just in 3 sentences you guessed that I meant egg from this glit millet. By the way, there is no word glit millet in English language. I just created it for you people. Now if you are making speed reading, then you don't have enough time to stop and consult a dictionary. For example, if you read somewhere that that person was horrible, he was ugly, monstrous and abominable. Now if you stop here and start looking for dictionary, for abominable in dictionary, then you're doing wrong, because there are so many other adjectives which are negatively used for the person. Then for sure abominable does not mean that he was a cute person. So that also must be meaning that he was a bad looking person. So we should skip these words and this should be taken in contextual reading. Now here I have also another activity for you. So if you are able to read all this and fill it in your mind, like you're not having papers right now, but if you fill it in your mind in 3 minutes, then you are the best reader ever. Like I took my test in previous slides. Now this is time to take your test. Now, most important, you need to read all the directions given below and then start filling it. Now at least you cannot do it now, but you can use this test. What you need now to do it, you need to print it out and take a test of your fellow students, your class fellows, your family mates, your friends, cousins, inmates of home, give them this performer and tell them that you need to read it and completely, and then you need to fill it in 3 minutes. And also there are certain exercises, like some exercises are to be done on a book or copy, like draw a square, draw a triangle, draw a circle. And also there are certain physical exercises, like give a smile, sit and stand 3 times. So all of this from 1 to 20 should be completed by the people in 3 minutes. Now then look at them, you will see them that they're all in a hurry to win. They're all making a competition with each other and they want to win it. No one has practically tried reading it till the end first. And if you go to number 20, it says, now give a smile, as you did not act upon the most important note given in the beginning. And 19 says, just do activity number 1 and 2 and rest are all useless. So we could not read the important note because we always miss it. We always use mobile apps and we do not read the agreements, and we just click yes without knowing whatever we are on what we are clicking yes. In the same way, if you had only read all the document before starting to fill in, you could only win by filling just 1 and 2. But all those people smiling, standing, sitting, telling their horoscope, favorite movie name, drama name, and looking outside, sitting inside, this was all useless. So this is a very good activity for reading skills. This activity basically tells us that we are never careful about reading. We are never caring about the reading that we are making. So, and we basically neglect this skill. Further, we have classification for reading. So reading can be classified as skimming, scanning, extensive reading, and intensive reading. So these four are classifications as well as the kinds of reading. So we can call them the types of reading. We can call them the classification of reading as well. Skimming involves quickly running one's eye over a text to get the gist of it. That we are not paying concentration to a single word. We are paying attention to the whole text and we are running our glances just to know the gist, which means the main idea. Scanning involves quickly going through a text to find a particular piece of information. That we are moving our eyes in order to find something that is written somewhere within the text. Extensive reading is nothing but reading long texts, usually for one's own pleasure. This is a fluent activity mainly involving global understanding. So we do this for the sake of our passion, pleasure, for our hobby. So all the readers, they read books and they are extensive readers. Now, intensive reading involves reading short texts to extract specific information. This kind of reading is otherwise known as reading for detail. Like we study for our exam and we need to know each and everything written. We need to understand that because that is necessary for us. So this is called intensive reading. Skimming is very fast reading. When you skim, you read to get the main idea and few but not all of the details. To skim rapidly, you must leave out parts of an article or story. Skimming is very useful skill. It will allow you to get information quickly from anything you read. Knowing how to skim will make you a better reader. So it is a fast reading, and when we are skimming, we are not paying attention to the details. We are leaving some parts out and we are paying attention to the main soul, main gist of the story. Now, you know that whenever we are writing letters to each other or applications, there is always a term there that is called subject. So the word subject, or the term subject, means that it is about the detail of all the text, of all the letter. For example, you may receive a scam email and the subject may be win a lottery in next 10 days. So this is not worth it. You will not need to pay attention to read the whole email or text or letter. And for example, if you receive a letter and it is written that your father's inheritance. Now, this may be very particular to you, that you want to know that what your father has left in his in inheritance. This happens so much in the European countries. So, we need to know what text is important for us and what is not. So, skimming tells us that what kind of attention should we pay to the text. And sometimes your subject tells everything. For example, if you are writing an application and the subject is application for 2 days leave, so this the boss is always like he's not reading the whole application, but he is convinced or he knows that the application is for your 2 days absence. So, skimming is very helpful. It tells us or it helps us to read a longer text in fewer time. So, those people who are very good readers, expert readers, they spend quite little time in reading a longer text because they are skim readers. Pre-reading, previewing and reading. These are the places where we need skimming. Pre-reading means that we are not reading the text, but before going to the text, we can have an analysis of that or summary of that. So that is pre-reading. Then reviewing, you have gone through the text and then you want to read the important thing from the text, and you know where the important thing is. So that is skimming again. And then reading itself, that you are reading and you are getting the main gist of the material. So at 3 places we use skimming. Now, what to read while skimming? Keywords. Don't use details, ignore them. Just read the keywords. Normally, every good book has a capacity in it that it has topic sentences, and topic sentences of each paragraph is about the whole paragraph. So, by reading topic sentence, you can get to know what must be written in rest of the paragraph. Then bold words. So bold words are important. They are key terms. We should be knowing them. Headings or title headings, we should be knowing them too because they are important. That is why they are bold or they are in form of heading. And first and last sentence of the paragraph. So first sentence is almost the introduction and last sentence is almost the ending of it or conclusion of it. So we know it better. Now, how to skim? Read the title. If it is an article, check the author, publication date and its source. Read the introduction. If it is very long, read only the first paragraph completely. Then read only the first sentence of every paragraph. The sentence will usually be in the main idea of the paragraph. Read any headings and subheadings. These headings, when taken together, form an outline of the main topics covered in the material. Notice any pictures, charts, or graphs. They are usually included to emphasize important dates or concepts. So by looking at all these things, we can improve the reading speed. For example, if we want to look at the pictures, so pictures are always there about the important thing mentioned. If we collect all the headings, they can work like an outline. So these things can really help us in reading something in very quick manner. If you do not get through enough information from the headings, if you are working with a material that does not have heading, read the first sentence of each paragraph. So in some cases, there may not be heading given. In that case, you should read the first paragraph, so that works as a heading, as a topic sentence. And glance at a reminder of the paragraph. Notice any italicized or bold-faced word or phrases. These are key terms. Look for the list of the ideas within the text of material. So by looking at them, you may be knowing that what are the italics, like slanting lines written, the text written in that, what text is bold, what you need to focus more, what you need to focus less. So you can get to know just by looking at the paragraph, and you can read faster. Scanning is a method of selective reading. When searching for a particular fact or answer to a question, scanning can best be described as looking rather than a reading process. So this is more a finding process. This is more a probing process than a reading process. So scanning is more about finding a particular information. Scanning is a reading skill you use when you want to locate a single fact or specific bit of information without reading every part of the story, article, list, document, or the book. You use scanning in many times in your daily life activities. For example, you scan the channel listing on the TV, the telephone directory, and then an alphabetical word on the dictionary. So all these things use our scanning ability. Sometimes you want to see your roll number where it is listed. Then you want to see where you are to sit in examination, and you see your name there. So whenever you are searching something particular from the whole of something, that is called scanning. Then how to scan? State in your mind specifically the information for which you are looking. Phrase it in question form if possible. Try to anticipate how the answer will appear and what clues you might use to help you locate the answer. Determine the organization of the material. It is your most important clue to where to begin looking for information. Especially when looking for information contained in charts and tables, the organization of the information is crucial to rapid scanning. So we need to scan, and we need to know how to scan. First of all, we need to know that from where we can get the information, from where we should start scanning, or at what level can we scan. Should we scan the tables? Should we scan the charts? So this is our background knowledge of the subject that allows us to know that from where to start scanning about something in a very quick manner. So we can determine our material, we can organize the material. Whenever you're working on a textbook online, this is very good that you press Control F and you write the tagline, and it tells you about the appearance of the word or sentence from the book or from the material. Since we cannot do that offline or in hard copy of the book, then we need to use our sense by looking at the contents and the chapter that we start to find. For example, if we are having a question and we need to find the answer in the book, and if the question is about social studies and environmental sector, so first I will be opening the book of social study, then I'll go to the environment part, and then I'll go to the thing that is mentioned. So this is how we scan something. We can also use headings or other aids that can help us in understanding or scanning the section for the information we are looking. We can read and skip through likely sections of the passage, keeping in mind the specific question you formed and your expectations of how the answer might appear. You need to move your eyes down the page in a systematic way. And when you have found the needed information, please carefully read the sentences in which it appears in order to confirm that you have located the correct information. This is just what I was talking about in the previous slide, that there are certain activities that we can do. So here is the complete sequence of those activities which we can perform in order to scan something in a very quick and systematic way. Now, what is difference between skimming and scanning? Now we have skimming versus scanning. So skimming is fast reading. We get main idea, not all the details in skimming. And while skimming, we must leave out certain parts. We do not read everything. Normally we leave out 1.5 or 3/4 of paragraph once we are done with the main idea. Our comprehension is definitely lower because we are not reading everything. We're just trying to find the main information. We only comprehend 50% of what we are reading. We are reading fast, and we have comprehension most of the time in a material that we are not familiar with. And whenever we are increasing our reading speed, our comprehension definitely decreases. So as far as scanning is concerned, it is a reading technique used when you want to locate something, you want to find something. For example, you want to find some TV channel, you want to find some TV show and its timing in a newspaper, if you want to find some particular information in a book, if you want to find some particular topic and you want to go to the page number. So scanning is a faster way to find information. It must be accurate in terms of finding a specific TV or a phone number. Definitely it is, because when you are switching to your phone contacts, then you need to find Mr. Zafar in that. So you click to M for Mr., or you directly go to Z for Zafar. You don't read everything from A to Z. This is scanning. So this is also in telephone directory. So scanning and skimming both save our quality time when we are in a need to save them. So skimming tells us something about the information, something the main theme of the information, and scanning tells us the exact location of the information that we are trying to find. Now, could you tell me the object which is used for all these types of reading? Like we can have intensive, extensive, skimming and scanning in that. So that object is a newspaper. You can skim through it when you're reading headlines. You can scan through it when you're finding some particular post, or you're finding some price bound list, or you're finding some particular news. You can have extensive reading in it when you are reading the newspaper to pass your time, for killing your time, or to have your pleasure reading. And you can do intensive reading of newspaper when you need to present it to somewhere, or when you need to talk about certain topic that you're finding information for, or when you are to appear in certain examination for which you are finding information in newspaper. So that is your intensive reading. So newspaper is there for your all four types of reading skills. So these are the references and the work cited. These will help you in your further understanding of reading skills. Thank you very much from my side. Next topic will be intensive reading and extensive reading, and SQ3R formula, that is study, question, read, recall, review. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz.